My mother looked directly at my 5-year-old daughter and said the house was only for real grandchildren. Isabella was standing there in her princess dress, the one she'd been saving for Disney, holding a handmade welcome home card covered in glitter and crayon hearts. She didn't cry right away. She just looked at me with those big brown eyes and asked, "I'm not real." I didn't cry. I didn't shout. I smiled at my parents, took Isabella's hand, and said, "Noted." 3 days later, they were reading the email that destroyed everything they'd built on my money. My name is Kristin Walsh. I'm 30, a dental hygienist at Bright Smiles Family Dentistry just outside Charlotte. I live in a 2-bedroom townhouse with my husband Ryan and our daughter Isabella. On paper, my life looks ordinary. Comfortable middle-class existence. But that Sunday in early April changed everything. Growing up, I learned early that I wasn't the favorite. My older sister Jessica was the golden child. When she got a new bike at 12, I got her old one with the rusty chain. When she made honor roll, our parents threw a party. When I made honor roll, they said congratulations and went back to watching TV. By 18, I'd learned to be invisible. Jessica went to college on our parents' dime. I worked 2 jobs and put myself through dental hygiene school. When I graduated with a job offer and 0 debt, my father's only comment was, "About time you became independent." Jessica married Marcus, a pharmaceutical sales rep. By 25, she had 3 kids, Ethan, Madison, and Connor. My parents quit their hobbies entirely to become full-time grandparents. Every milestone got elaborate parties and expensive gifts. Almost 6 years ago, my father Tom lost his machinist job when the plant closed. My mother Linda called me late one evening. "Just until we get back on our feet," she said. "We don't want to lose the house." The mortgage was $485 a month. They'd been paying it for over 20 years. "Just temporarily," she said. I sent the first payment the next week. Temporarily turned into months. Then a year. Then utilities got added. $165 a month. Then car insurance. $210 a month. Then health insurance supplement. $295 a month. Then their phone bill. $105 a month. Then Jessica called. Marcus's commissions had been slow. Could I help with rent? Just $425 a month. I kept a category in my budget labeled family support. Every month, like clockwork, I sent $1,950. The emergency fund was $265 a month, money they could tap for unexpected expenses. Except the unexpected became routine. Dad's truck transmission. $2,850. Mom's dental implants. $4,200. Jessica's security deposit. $1,600. The roof. $3,700. I did the math about a year ago. Really did it. 66 months of mortgage at $485. $32,010. Utilities for 66 months at $165. $10,890. Car insurance at $210. $13,860. Health supplement at $295. $19,470. Phone bills at $105. $6,930. Sister's rent for 42 months at $425. $17,850. Emergency fund at $265. $17,490. $128,700 in monthly payments. Then the one-time emergencies. The transmission. The implants. The deposits. The roof. Jessica's car down payment. The property tax bailout. $21,275 in loans never repaid. Total, $149,975. I met Ryan when I was 25 at a friend's barbecue. We dated for a year before I told him about the monthly payments. I saw concern flicker in his eyes. Recognition that this wasn't normal. We got married when I was 26. Isabella came into our lives when I was 27. We'd been trying to adopt for almost 2 years when we got the call about a 2-year-old girl in Colombia who needed a family. We flew to Bogota with hearts full of hope. The moment I saw her, dark curly hair, big brown eyes, dimpled smile, something in my chest cracked open. I loved her immediately. Fiercely. Completely. My parents' first meeting with Isabella happened at our townhouse. Isabella practiced saying please and thank you in Spanish because I'd told her grandma and grandpa would love that. Linda's first words weren't hello or congratulations. They were, I don't know if I can bond with her like I do with my real grandchildren. I felt Ryan's hand tighten on my shoulder. I forced a smile. She's your real granddaughter. My mother shrugged. You know what I mean. But I kept trying. I kept sending the money. I kept showing up with Isabella, watching my daughter make handmade cards for grandparents who barely acknowledged her. Watching Connor, who was the same age, get elaborate birthday parties while Isabella got a $10 Target gift card in the mail. Every Christmas was the same. Ethan, Madison, and Connor would tear through piles of presents, iPads, bikes, designer clothes. Isabella would sit quietly with her single-wrapped box, usually clearance items or hand-me-downs. She never complained. She'd smile and say thank you, then ask me later in the car, do Grandma and Grandpa love me? I'd say yes. I'd lie to my daughter's face. Isabella's 5th birthday happened last year. She shares a birthday week with Easter, and my mother used that as an excuse every year. Too close to the holiday. Meanwhile, Connor's birthday 2 months later always got a full party with a bounce house. Around 3 months before spring break, Linda called. We're taking the kids to Disney World. A whole week at Magic Kingdom. My stomach dropped. Isabella's been watching Encanto on repeat. She'd absolutely love. Oh honey, Isabella's too young to appreciate it. You know how exhausting theme parks are for little ones. She'd just slow everyone down. She's 5. Connor's 5. Connor's more mature for his age. You know how boys are. I could have pushed back. Isabella had been dreaming about meeting the princesses for months. She'd saved her allowance to buy a special dress. Instead, I said, I understand. Ryan suggested we go separately, but Linda insisted the timing wouldn't work. They'd already booked the package. Only room for 6 people. The tickets were expensive. She didn't say real grandkids out loud. She didn't have to. I paid the mortgage that month. For $185 like clockwork. And the utilities. And the insurance. And Jessica's rent. The week of spring break came. My parents, Jessica, Marcus, and their 3 kids flew to Orlando. I took Isabella to the park near our house and pushed her on the swings while she asked why she couldn't go see Cinderella's castle. Maybe next time, I said. Another lie. That Sunday evening, they returned. Linda posted 247 photos on Facebook. Every single moment documented. Not one photo included space for a 5th grandchild. I stared at those photos for 20 minutes. Isabella was napping, exhausted from our day at the regular park. I'd spent the week telling her Disney would happen someday. More lies. That evening, I drove to my parents' house. Isabella wore her princess dress. She'd made a welcome home card covered in glitter and crayon hearts. She was so excited to see the pictures. The family was gathered around the dining room table. Suitcases piled in the corner. Souvenirs covered every surface. Connor was showing off a new Buzz Lightyear toy. Madison wore Minnie Mouse ears. Grandma, Grandpa, can I see your pictures? Isabella asked quietly, card clutched in her small hands. Linda barely glanced up. Maybe later, sweetie. We're organizing everything right now. Jessica's voice cut through. Mom, where's that gift shop receipt? In my purse, Linda said, then muttered to Jessica, not quietly enough. Thank God we didn't waste money bringing her. The ticket alone was $485 for the week. My hands went cold. Tom nodded, finishing his beer. We don't want to waste money on a kid who isn't blood anyway. Real grandkids understand Disney. She'd just complained the whole time. The room went completely silent. I watched my daughter's face. Watched her process those words. Watched her try to understand why the grandparents she'd been practicing Spanish for just called her fake. I'm not real. Isabella's voice was so small. I stood up. Did you just say that in front of her? Linda rolled her eyes. Oh, don't be so dramatic, Kristin. She's 5. She won't even remember this. Jessica added, you're too sensitive. It's not personal. Tom shrugged, reaching for another beer. We gave you everything growing up. That's more than we owed you. Something in me snapped clean in half. Not angry, cold. Clear. Final. I looked at Isabella's abandoned card on the floor, glitter scattering across the carpet. I looked at my daughter's tear-stained face. "Come on, Isabella," I said quietly. "We're leaving." But Grandma, Isabella started. "Now." In the car, Isabella cried. Not loud sobs, but quiet, confused tears. She didn't understand what she'd done wrong. I pulled over about a mile from the house. I turned around and took her hands. "Listen to me very carefully," I said. "You are real. You are my daughter. You are loved. What Grandma said was wrong. It was cruel. And it had nothing to do with you. But why don't they love me?" Her voice cracked. "I don't know, baby. But that's their loss. Because you are the most amazing, wonderful, perfect person I know." She cried herself to sleep in her car seat. I carried her inside, still wearing her princess dress, and tucked her into bed. Ryan met me in the hallway. "What happened?" I told him. Every word. His jaw clenched. "That's it. We're done with them." "I know," I said. That night, I couldn't sleep. Around midnight, I opened my laptop. I pulled up my banking history and created a spreadsheet. Every payment. Every check. Every transfer. The numbers climbed. And climbed. $149,975. I'd paid nearly $150,000 to people who just told my daughter she wasn't real. That thing inside me that had been bending for years, it snapped. I opened a new tab. Logged into my bank. Found the recurring payments. $485 per month. Parents' mortgage. Status, active. I clicked at it. I clicked cancel. "Are you sure?" "Yes." Status, canceled. $165 per month. Utilities. Edit. Cancel. Canceled. $210. Car insurance. Canceled. $295. Health insurance. Canceled. $105. Phone bill. Canceled. $425. Jessica's rent. Canceled. $265. Emergency fund. Canceled. Everything. Gone. The silence felt like oxygen. At 6:47 the next morning, I called my bank. I requested security notes. Do not process any payments to Tom Harper or Linda Harper without written authorization. At 9:15, I called Patricia Gonzalez, a family attorney. By noon, we drafted a cease and desist letter. I spent the afternoon compiling documentation. 6 years of bank statements. 47 pages. Every payment highlighted. I exported it as a PDF titled Documentation of Financial Support 2019 to 2025. Then I wrote an email. Short. Direct. Factual. Subject: Documentation of Financial Support and Relationship Closure. I added my parents, Jessica, Marcus, and 9 extended family members. Attached is documentation of $149,975 I have provided over 66 months to support your household expenses. Yesterday, you told my 5-year-old daughter she isn't real, isn't blood, and isn't worth the cost of a Disney ticket. You said this in front of her while she held a card she made you. Those words are unforgivable. Do not contact me, my husband, or my daughter again. Any further contact will be considered harassment. I attached the 47-page PDF. I stared at the send button for 10 seconds. Then I clicked it. 2:33 that afternoon. Then I did something I should have done years ago. I booked 3 tickets to Disney World. Just me, Ryan, and Isabella. 5 days, 4 nights, mid-September. When I told Isabella after she woke from her nap, she literally jumped off the couch. "Really? Just us?" "Every single one, I promised." And this time, it wasn't a lie. Within an hour, my phone started buzzing. 14 missed calls from Linda. 6 from Tom. 3 from Jessica. I blocked them all. By the next day, I had 22 text messages. "Please call me and you're overreacting." Tom sent exactly 2 words, "You're overreacting." I didn't respond to any of them. The first mortgage payment bounced that week. $485 plus a $45 late fee. Linda left a panicked voicemail. "Kristin, please," the bank called. "There must be a mistake. I'm sorry if we hurt your feelings." If we hurt your feelings. As if calling my daughter not real was just a minor faux pas. A few weeks passed. The second mortgage payment bounced. The bank sent a formal letter about their 30-day cure period. The utilities were shut off for 4 days. Jessica called Ryan's phone. He listened for 30 seconds, then said, "Don't call this number again," and hung up. The Facebook posts stayed up for 11 days. Then Linda deleted all 247. Too many family members were asking questions. Extended families started putting pieces together. By the second month, my parents had savings about $8,200. Not enough to cure the arrears. Not enough to catch up. Jessica was evicted from her rental. The $425 I'd been sending every month? That was covering her rent. They moved into my parents' house. 5 people squeezed into 3 bedrooms. Over the next months, everything collapsed in slow motion. Tom tried to sell his truck. He listed it for $4,000, then discovered it needed $2,400 in repairs. He junked it for $300. Linda picked up extra hours at the church office. $13.50 an hour. Even at 30 hours a week, it wasn't nearly enough. The foreclosure auction happened on a Tuesday morning in late summer. The house sold for $178,000. After fees, my parents walked away with $6,400. From a house they'd owned for over 20 years. Tom got a job at Home Depot. Part-time, $15 an hour. At 61, stocking shelves and loading mulch. Linda kept her church job but picked up a second job cleaning houses on weekends. They moved into a 750-square-foot apartment near the highway. $1,250 a month. Thin walls. No yard. Around 4 months ago, Linda sent an email. 8 paragraphs long. It talked about misunderstandings. Harsh words. Things said in the heat of the moment. How much they missed me. How Tom's health wasn't good. How they'd love to see Isabella again. The final paragraph. We could really use your help with his medical bills. We're still your parents. We raised you. Not one mention of what they actually said to Isabella. Not one real apology. Just immediate requests for money. I haven't responded. I won't. This past summer, Ryan and I closed on a house. For bedrooms, excellent school district, fenced backyard. The down payment was $42,000. Money we'd saved over 18 months after I stopped funding their life. We took Isabella to Disney World in September. 5 days, 4 nights. We stayed on property. Character breakfasts. Fireworks from Main Street. Isabella met every single princess. She wore her Encanto dress and twirled in front of Cinderella's castle. She cried happy tears during the parade. She ate Mickey-shaped ice cream and told us it was the best week of her entire life. The photo from that trip, Isabella with Mickey Mouse, pure joy on her face, her dress sparkling in the Florida sun, is framed in our living room. Isabella starts kindergarten next week. She's reading at 1st grade level. She has 3 best friends, Emma, Sophia, and Ava. She takes dance on Tuesdays and art on Saturdays. Her bedroom walls are covered in her drawings. Most importantly, she laughs every single day. Real laughs. She feels safe. She knows she's loved. She's never asked again if she's real. Ryan got promoted at the bank last month. I picked up an extra day at the practice. We're saving for Isabella's college fund now. Every dollar that used to go to mortgage payments goes into her future instead. Sometimes late at night, I think about that number. $149,975. Then I think about what it actually bought. The freedom to finally say no. The clarity to see I was never going to be enough for people who'd decided I wasn't worth their love. The strength to choose my daughter over people who shared my DNA but never really saw me. People tell me constantly I should forgive. That family is family. That I'm being too harsh. But I remember Isabella's face that day. 5 years old, holding that card, asking if she was real. I remember years of watching her make crafts for grandparents who couldn't be bothered to acknowledge her birthday. I learned something that night I canceled those payments. Enabling cruelty in the name of keeping the peace just teaches cruel people that their behavior works. Some people believe family means unconditional forgiveness. I used to believe that too. Now I know love without respect isn't love. It's exploitation. Isabella is tucked into bed right now, in our house, in her room with the pink walls and bookshelves. She's safe. She's loved. She's wanted. She fell asleep tonight reading a book about a princess who saves herself. Before bed, she told me she loves our family, me, Ryan, and her. Our family is perfect, she said. She doesn't ask about grandma and grandpa anymore. She knows who shows up for her. She knows who sees her as real. It's been almost 7 months since that Sunday. 7 months since I canceled those payments. People say you'll regret cutting off family. That blood is thicker than water. That hasn't happened. Not once. Because I finally understand, some people will never change. Some people will take and take until there's nothing left. Some people will look at a child and decide she's not worth loving because she doesn't share their genetics. And the only way to survive people like that is to stop giving them the power to hurt you. We didn't need the people who didn't want us there. We never did. Last week at Target, we ran into one of my cousins. She asked about Isabella. I saw the email, she said quietly. The PDF. I had no idea it was that bad. It was worse, I said. But it's better now. She looked at Isabella. She's beautiful. Happy. She is. Your parents ask about you sometimes. Do they ask about Isabella? She paused. No. Then they have their answer. So was I wrong for cutting them off completely? For canceling nearly $150,000 in support because of one cruel comment? Did I go too far or not far enough? Have you ever had to choose yourself over family? Have you ever drawn a line and refused to cross back? Drop your story in the comments below. If this hit close to home, hit that like button and subscribe for more real stories about family, boundaries, and choosing the people who actually choose you back. Because sometimes, choosing yourself isn't selfish. It's survival. And sometimes, the family you build is worth more than the one you were born into.